Hey, what's up? It's Sifu Kuttel, and welcome to Tai Chi Connection, the series where we look at the movements between the movements. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the transition between snake spits out tongue to kick and slap the foot. Now, I usually spend a lot of time and put emphasis on weight distribution, foot position on the ground, empty, full, these little details. But today I want to really focus on the hands. So our main point of focus is going to be continuation of motion in the hands. Our second point of focus is going to be consistently moving forward. Now, I would say staying at the same level the whole time, but when we stand up to kick, it is important that you actually stand up. You don't want to be trying to kick with your knees bent, okay? So let's go get to work. Now, before we get any further into the technique, I do want to isolate the transition itself, especially because the hands. We're circling the hands, and this can look complicated, but really it's easier than you think. When we start learning and you're trying to do the footwork, you're trying to transition from one technique to the next technique, and you're trying to kick and keep all of these things in mind and remember the form, then it's difficult. But when you isolate the hands and we focus on those simple movements, it's not as hard as you would expect. Okay, so we'll start by crossing our hands. I'm going to have my right hand on the inside, left hand on the outside. For this part, my left hand is not going to move. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to circle up, out, back down, and then cross the hand. So essentially, I've moved my right hand from the inside to the outside. Now, think about it as like a wave. You're going to wave hello. Okay, so from here, hello, and then back, and then outside position. Okay, so extend, circle, come up. Seriously, it's best to just do this 5 to 10 times on your own. Not watching, not with me, but take a moment, pause this video, do this about 5 times. Take a step forward while you do it. Get used to moving with this and just part of the technique, okay? Then come back, because now we're gonna work with the left hand. Okay, so again, I start with my hands crossed, and just like how I brought my right hand up, down, and over, this time my left hand is going to go down, up, and then I'm going to cross to the inside. Okay, so again, my left hand goes down, up, cross. Okay, one more time, down, up, and then it goes to the inside. This is again something you want to take your time, go ahead and take a step, work with the hand moving this way. The difficulty on this is that it's your back hand, so even though the movement is still, it's very simple to bring your hand down, up, and over, it's very easy to take too many shortcuts, bend the elbow too much, and lose those Tai Chi principles that we talk about. Okay, so from here, my left hand's on the outside, I want to take the time, crossing over, and then bring it here. Now, once you have that down, we're going to combine the two. The difficult thing here is that my right hand goes up and out, my left hand goes down and over, okay? But they're still traveling in the same direction, it's just at different times, okay? So from here, my right hand's on the inside, left hand's on the outside, right hand's going to come up, left hand's going to go down. They're going to finish their circles and meet in the middle. Again, right hand up, left hand down, finish the circle, meet in the middle. Now that you've done this, try to do it with taking that step forward. So I'm taking a step as I do this, okay? So again, circle, cross, as you step. Okay, now that we've got that part out of the way, that's most of the heavy lifting here. The rest of this, I want to focus on forward motion and keeping my shoulders at the same level. Now, this idea of pressing forward, forward pressure, consistent energy, consistently moving forward, there's lots of different ways that you can explain this. And one of my favorite ways is that I want you to picture that you're moving through a medium. You're not just in the air with your arms out in the air. You're not just trying to hold them up with the only thing against you is gravity. I want you to picture like the air is thick. I want you to think like you're moving through water, that there's a constant resistance against you that you have to push against to press through. And anytime that you yield to it or you tilt away from it, that's things that we do when we're lazy, you have a consequence for it. So I want you to always have that in your mindset that you're actually moving through something. Thick air, water, whatever you want to picture. But it's really helpful to do that. And it's easier to do that once you have the technique down and you don't have to focus on what the hands are doing. You don't have to focus on what the stance is doing. You can trust your arms, you can trust your legs, and you can focus on moving the body as an entire unit together. Okay? So now, to tie this together, we'll go through from a fan through the back position. From here, my hand comes over. I'm going to re-step to get my bow stance in the correct position, and this is where it starts. Forward pressure right here. I'm pressing forward with my hand. As it's rolling down, I'm moving forward here. I'm pressing forward with the palm. That one's a given. But now I want to think of moving forward through it using my upper body. So as I step, my shoulders are pushing against this. Even though the arms are circling around, my shoulders, my upper body is pushing through. Okay? Then the kick. Then as I step down, there's still resistance. Now this part is really key too. A lot of people will set up for the kick, they throw it, and then they let the arms relax too much because they're thinking about getting ready for the next technique. Let the arms have some energy in them. Think of holding something back from moving towards you, whether you're pushing down against that resistance or your fingers are pressing out forward with resistance, okay? So again, from this position, I turn, step, I'm moving against this thick air or moving through water, kick, and then control. Now, one of the other things that I want you to keep in mind as you're doing this is keeping your body at a consistent altitude, okay? Now, the only time we break this is when we kick. We're not going to try to kick from a really low position. This is a very awkward way of kicking, so it's okay to come up. But what tends to happen, one of the biggest mistakes, is that people will stand up out of the bow stance and then step down from here. And that's not what you want to do. Once you've set your bow stance height, once we've moved forward here, I want to maintain this height. So my body's pressing forward, but I stay low with it. I come up with the kick, and then I come back down to that level. And this should have a consistent pace to it. Of course, the kick interrupts, but the body should always be moving forward, and it should always be in a lower position, okay? A lot of details, I know, but this one's really important. Once you get the hands down, we really focus on that continuous energy and then keeping energy in the hands, not over relaxing and letting those die off because the kick is done. Okay, so there you have it. It's a really beautiful technique, but when these components come together, when you have that nice circle of the hands that leads into the kick, into setting up the hand without letting yourself just lose energy. That's one of the saddest things to see is when somebody has a great setup for the kick, they have a nice strong kick and slap, and then right after they do it, they celebrate the fact that they did it by just relaxing. You want to maintain consistent energy there. So the whole time the hands should have purpose, they should know what they're doing, even through the kick itself. And then of course, this consistent motion forward and maintaining the same level before the kick. Again, I mentioned this, we want to stand up to kick, and this is because it gives our posting leg a lot stronger balance. Now, you don't need to lock the leg out when you do that. You can keep a slight bend of the knee, but we're not going to try to kick from a crouched position. You want to have a nice, comfortable, balanced position so that your kick can extend at full power and deliver at full energy. All right, if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. Otherwise, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Till next time, this is Sifu Kuttel.